Hi everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to my first video. Today I'll be talking about my rhinoplasty experience from beginning to end. I'll be answering all the questions I had before I went through with it because I know these days it's become a very popular treatment to have done, and I know a lot of people these days are interested in it. So if you are interested in rhinoplasty, then please keep watching. From the very beginning, I started looking into rhinoplasty when I was in college, so about the age of 16, 17. So I had considered doing it in the UK, I had considered doing it back home, which is Bulgaria, and I also thought about Turkey because I don't know who I know it from, where I know it from, but I just know that Turkey is really the best for plastic surgery. So because I had that thought in my head that Turkey was the best place to get the surgery done, I thought, let me focus on doing my research on Turkish surgeons. So I finally found this place. It was actually a clinic based in the UK, but they do their treatments in Turkey. I contacted them you have to fill out this form online and then they contact you straight away pretty much. And so I filled it out. And they contacted me and asked me what I really expected from the treatment, how I wanted it to look. And then they said to me, send me a picture of your current look. So I did that, and probably around a few hours they got back to me, and it was a picture of before and after. I will put it somewhere here for you guys to check out. I was pretty happy with it. And I don't know why. I was really brave. I mean, I looked at other places, but I thought I'm going with this one because I think that was the first. I'm not sure. I was just so brave. I wanted it. I wanted it a lot. That was what I've been wanting for 3 years almost. So I just wanted it done as soon as possible. So I said to them, when is your next available appointment? And they told me around January. They gave me a few different dates and I picked my date and I said book it in. So I booked it in, and shortly after they sent me an email with all the information. So I actually have the email here on my phone, so I will be reading some of the information because it is almost a year now and I don't really remember clearly all the details. So this is the details of in the price that they gave me, it was a whole package. So you had the hotel paid for, you had the surgery itself, so the hospital stay, pre and post medical things, and pretty much everything. I just had to pay for my flights. I had to arrange that myself, but other than that, from the pickup from the airport when you arrive, to dropping you off, to everything, to your transfer to the hospital, and from the hospital back to the hotel, everything was arranged. So that was a whole package. So me and my mum went to the consultation. That was the day before my surgery. We met with Dr. Yüksel. He is amazing, honestly. He answered every question I had. Before I even asked him any questions, he answered my questions. So I was really happy with that. He made sure I felt comfortable. He showed me some of his before and after pictures of patients that had it done literally 10 years ago, and he was reassuring me that everything's going to be fine. He was like, look, they're fine today, nothing's going to happen to you, because I was really worried that it's not going to turn out as I wanted it. I mean, it is your face and you want it to be perfect, you don't want to mess it up. So he reassured me with some of the pictures of his patients before. And we pretty much, that was it. I told him what I wanted. I wanted a slightly more curved shape rather than just straight, just because I had a bump, and when getting rid of that bump it would just leave me with a straight nose. I didn't want that. Mine is slightly curved. So after I had my consultation, I went back to the hotel with my mum. So next day was the day of my surgery. Me and my mum got to the hospital for probably about 7 o'clock in the morning. So me and my mum were sent to our room. We had to sign some paperwork before that. When we got to the room, I met my anesthesia doctor. She was the loveliest person ever, honestly. She expected me to have more questions than I asked her. I remember she asked me, do you have any more questions? And I said no, after literally asking her, how long is it gonna take me to wake up? And she was a bit like, oh, you don't have any other questions? And I was like, no, that's it. So it was time to go in. And like I said, I was more happy than I was nervous because I've been wanting this for so long. So I went in and I remember going into theatre and there were so many people around me. They put this mask on my face and that's when the anaesthesia kicked in straight away. They literally put the mask in and probably like 2-3 seconds after, you're knocked out. And next thing I remember is actually the scariest part of this whole experience. That's when I felt a tube coming out of my mouth. So I'm not too sure what that tube is for. I didn't really do much research on that. But I remember this is how I woke up. I didn't wake up when I was in the room. I woke up while going to the room. And I felt the tube coming out my throat. I know it's really disgusting, but it was the scariest thing ever. Because then I was telling my mum and she was like, you wasn't really meant to wake up that quick. And yeah. So I was in the room now. I remember my mum staring at me, asking me how I feel. I felt very, very sleepy. I couldn't talk properly because I still wasn't with it. I was still half asleep. I will put somewhere here a picture of right after me waking up because I was so excited to send everyone pictures of me waking up successfully. I remember I didn't tell that many people, just only a few people knew. And yeah, so it was probably like 2 hours, I would say, after like being able to talk normally, go to a toilet. I wasn't actually able to go to a toilet on my own. My mum had to come with me and help me because I still was a bit weak. I couldn't stand on my feet properly. A funny thing is when you wake up and try to go to the toilet, you can't go to the toilet. I don't know if it's a side effect of the anesthesia, but I would try to go to the toilet and I wouldn't be able to. I remember the nurse having to come in to help me because I didn't know what was happening. And I remember as the water was running, I could go to the toilet again. So that's something really weird that happened. Probably a side effect that I never knew about. But just bear that in mind. It's nothing to worry about. It was completely normal. And I was fine pretty much after that. So that day I felt really tired. I slept probably all day, I would say. And then my mum would wake me up to give me food. The nurses in the hospital were so caring. Even though they didn't speak English, only my assistant spoke English. The lady that comes in with you to like your appointment, your consultation, basically your contact for everything. I would contact her with any questions. I would contact her if I feel unwell, all sorts of things. So next day I woke up and my surgeon had come to take out my tampons. I had tampons in my nostrils, and I had a dressing that I had to change literally every, I would say, half an hour because I had so much blood coming out. This is probably the most discomfort that I got. And the second worst is him taking the tampons out. So me waking up with the tube coming out of my mouth to the tampons being removed from my nostrils. It's very uncomfortable, but it was very quick. And again, my surgeon handled it pretty well because he was very careful because he could see that I felt really uncomfortable, but that's normal. And that was it from him. So my next appointment with him was the day he removed my cast, and that was 6 days later. So me and my mum went back to the hotel. We had two things that really helped me. I didn't get a lot of swelling or a lot of bruising. I think it was my right eye that I got a little bruise on my eyelid and then swelling underneath my eyes, but probably on the third day it was almost all gone, and I was just left with a little bruise on my right eye. So I will put down in the description box the two products that really helped me. One is a gel to help with the swelling and bruising, and literally my mum would put it on, wipe it away after half an hour, reapply, and do this all over again. And this is why I feel like I didn't have a lot of bruising and swelling, because my mum would keep reapplying it. In general, I felt really tired and just really depressed throughout the whole of the 6 days before removing my cast. I was just in bed, eating all day, doing nothing. My mum would tell me, let's go out, it's a nice weather, but I would just stay in bed and not want to do anything. So because I was so fed up with the hotel food at some point, I started craving different things, and we would obviously have to get out of the hotel, and I remember not wanting to go anywhere, but at the same time I'm craving something so bad that I had to. So we did go out a few times, but I remember just not wanting to go anywhere, not really wanting to do anything too much. I just stayed in bed and that was it really. And I think there was a shopping centre that one day we just went to look around. But yeah, that was it really for the whole 6 days. I didn't really do much. I'm really thankful that my mum was with me, because if it wasn't for her, then I don't know how I would have done it. So on the day that my cast was coming off, so we went into the surgeon's office, and he had like a little room where we went in, and I had to lay down on the bed, and that's when he was going to take my stitches off and my cast off. So that's when I was going to see my nose. I was very excited because I could already see the like shape of the nose, but because the cast was so thick, I thought it's going to be even better, and I was very excited. So I lay down, he removed my stitches, which was a very uncomfortable rather than painful feeling. But I got through it, and so he removed the cast, and that's when I saw my new nose. So I wish I could have gone back in time and changed the reaction to how I reacted when I first saw my nose, because that wasn't a very good reaction. I literally saw my nose and I was so, I don't know, I was maybe shocked. I don't know what was going through my head, but I didn't even, like, all I did was said thank you and awkwardly walked out. And I remember we was in the lift and I was looking at myself and I was like, what the hell have I done? And I think this was because my nose was very swollen. It literally looked like I don't know, it looked bad. I'll try and find a video and put it somewhere here of the day I took it off, but it was a bad reaction. Anyway, it was now day 2 after I took the cast off. That's when I began to really look like myself. It wasn't a big change. Again, I don't think I look that different than what I did before, but right now I'm definitely more confident. I remember I felt more relieved just because my mum had spoken to me and told me, look, it's very swollen right now, it's not gonna look like that, like, don't panic. You know, I wasn't thinking right, because I don't know what was going through my head, but I just somehow had it in my head that it's going to be the perfect little nose straight away. But that's not what happens. It still is swollen right now. My tip is taking a longer time to heal, so it's still very swollen. It's still not the end result almost a year later. So yeah, at that moment I was like, oh my god, what have I done to myself? But here I am now. I'm so happy with it. Honestly, I think that's the best thing I've done for myself so far. You know, invest in yourself, because if it's gonna make you feel more confident about yourself, then go for it. Because right now, the way I feel, I would have never thought I'm gonna be sitting in front of a camera filming a YouTube video for potentially so many people to see. So yeah, it really has changed the way I look at myself, the way I feel, and I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy. So the last thing I want to talk about is how you had to clean your nose for probably 2 months after surgery. They gave you like this spray that you have to spray morning and night, and then what the spray does is like it makes everything come out quicker, all the disgusting stuff, and that made my nose unblock quicker. I don't have any problems breathing. I can breathe normally now. And again, this is another issue that people think they could have, breathing. I breathe normal now. I could breathe normal after, I would say, like 2-3 months. My nostrils completely unblocked. I'm completely fine now. So yeah, they give you instructions of what to do after. You know, when you come back home, it's like a whole list of things they tell you to do and not to do. And that is pretty much it. You could contact them a whole year after surgery, so I can still contact them now if I've got any issues, any questions, anything. Again, I have had a few times where I have to contact them because something's come to my mind and I have to ask them questions about it, but they're more than happy to help at any time. Their service is honestly amazing, so whenever you have a question, then you just ask them and they answer it pretty much straight away. This is pretty much it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then please give it a like, please subscribe and share if you can. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.